The Unacademy learning experience to an entirely new level. With this, we have a lot of exciting features and updates that we want to share with you today. So without further ado, let's get started. With the completely redesigned Unacademy learning experience, we focused on 4 things mainly. How do we make it as simple as possible? Because we want our learners to make the most out of Unacademy. How do we make it personal? Because no two learners are the same. Unacademy has always been about interactivity. Learners can interact with the educators as well as with other learners in live classes. We wanted to take that experience to the next level. And last but not the least, we believe learning should be fun, and which is why it was a big focus. And all of this gets 2 times faster than the previous apps. So today, we'll take you through a detailed walkthrough of all these features and help you understand how these features can elevate your learning experience with Unacademy. But let's start with the biggest change of all. The new Unacademy app has 3 main parts. Planner helps you get access your daily learning journey as soon as you open the app. All your self-study needs like practice, like notes, and so on, live in the self-study menu. And then the last thing is you. It has everything about you. Every course that you have enrolled in, every educator that you have followed, and so on. And to begin with, to give you a detailed walkthrough of Planner, let me invite Hardik.
Thank you, Himesh, and welcome everyone. We are so excited to show you the new Unacademy learning experience. Let's start with the Planner. We have built one single surface where you will see all of your daily live learning. You'll see your classes, you'll see your tests, quiz, combat, and a lot more. Let's start with today. We built Planner in a way that no matter when you open the app, it'll always show you what's most important. Like right now, it's telling me that there is a class at 3:45 that I should care about. Now, sometimes we take a day off and miss a few classes. That's okay. With the Planner, you can always scroll up and find all your missed classes right there. Just tap on a class, start watching. You can also download your PDF or the class video right from there. When the class goes live, the Planner prioritizes and shows me that class card with a live tag. Very helpful. For the people who like to plan ahead of time, Planner also allows you to scroll down and see what's coming up tomorrow. Or we have also built a very helpful calendar where you can tap on a date and jump to see what's happening on that day. Now, sometimes we get a phone call and get thrown out of the app. It's very annoying if you're watching a live class. But continue watching. Now you can come back to the app and tap right there to jump right back into the class. Very helpful. Now, you might have noticed that there are gaps in the Planner. Those are the time slots when you have no live classes or tests. We have built very powerful self-study features to help you go the extra mile in your learning preparation. Introducing the all-new menu. You'll see all the self-study features right here. You can catch up on a few practice questions, you can revise your notes, and in the future, we will be adding a lot more features here that will help you stay ahead of the game, basically. Up next is Profile. Let's look at Profile next. Profile is one single place for all of your familiar learning options, your own content, and stats. Our long-time learners will recognize the options at the top: enrollments, downloads, saves, history, and more. We also now have activity, which show you detailed stats about how your learning is going. Up next is Streak, one of the most favorite features that our users love. We also then have Syllabus, which tell you how much of the syllabus you have covered so far. And then finally, we have Leaderboard that tell you how you rank amongst other learners in your same goal. If you're learning in multiple goals, you may want to switch between many of them throughout your day. With a quick, easy option at the top, you can now do so. I don't know if you noticed those people write in the live card before. For the first time ever in a learning app, we are introducing the concept of learning with a group. To tell you more about group, here's Monomita.
Hello everyone, and thanks Hardik. That's a brilliant way for our learners to organize their daily schedule and to track their progress. But I feel something is missing. What's that one thing that we all have been missing in our lives in the last 1 year? And I think especially our learners. Who are the people who motivate our learners when they're feeling low? Who are the folks who they discuss their exam strategy as they come out of an exam hall? Yes, you're right, they're friends. They are the ones who nudge our learners to go that extra mile and practice that one extra question. We at Unacademy thought it's high time we get your friends and classmates back into the lives and study plan of our learners. With the new app, I'm very excited to introduce groups. Group is a feature which brings a set of learners together so that they can learn together. These are a set of learners who are preparing for the same goal in the same language and the same subjects. With groups, you can see what the other learners in your group are actually studying, and you can go and study the same thing. For every activity, such as watching a class or taking a practice test, you get points. As you accumulate those points, at the end of the week, there are leaderboards and we declare who are the winners. So that's group learning for you. To get you started, Unacademy has enrolled you into groups. However, you can add your own friends by inviting them to join your group. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started and start adding your friends to your groups to learn together. Now let's talk about that part of Unacademy where our learners spend a lot of time. Any guesses? Yes, you're right. It's our live classes. We constantly endeavor to make our live classes extremely effective with the best of educators, content, and in-class tools. As we spoke with a lot of our learners, what we realized is that personal interactions are extremely important in the learning process. Learning happens through conversations. Learning is participative. Also, we can say that we've really understood a concept when we don't have the slightest bit of doubt regarding it in our minds anymore, isn't it? So let me show you something that we built just for that. Introducing Raise Hand, a feature that lets our learners raise their hand in class and get their doubts resolved. Now let's dive into a learning classroom, a live classroom, and see what's happening. This is a physics classroom of IIT JEE. The educator is teaching Newton's laws of motion. Any learner can raise their hand if they have a doubt that they want to get resolved in the class. Once learners raise their hand, the educator starts seeing the list of learners who've raised their hand in their interface, and then they can choose to invite learners in turns to speak to the educator. It looks like one of our learners in the class, Shiksha, has raised her hand. Let's see what happens next.
So Siksha has raised her hand in the class to ask a question. Let's bring her question up to the class.
Hi sir. So I was trying to solve this question. An astronaut accidentally gets thrown out of the small spaceship accelerating in outer space at 100 meter per second square. So what is the acceleration of the astronaut the instant after she is outside?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So to solve this, we have to understand that the moment the astronaut is out of the spaceship, there is no force which is getting applied. The small gravitational force from the spaceship is negligible, and other stars' gravitational force is not accounted for since it is in outer space. So, since there is no force applied on the astronaut, the acceleration will be zero. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, sir. This was very helpful.
Great.
That's raise a hand for you. I am so glad that our learners finally literally have a voice in the classroom. Well, that's not the only feature that we built to ensure quality personalized guidance for learners on our platform. There is more. For that, over to Himesh.
Thanks, Monomita. Over the last 5.5 years, Unacademy has catered to a lot of the needs of our learners. Today with Unacademy, you can learn from the best educators in the country. You can practice from thousands of questions at your own convenience, and you can get your doubts resolved within seconds. When we were thinking of reimagining the learner experience, we talked to our learners, we talked to our educators, our users, and we realized a big need. Our learners wanted to talk to the educators. Our learners wanted a way where they could get more help. And with live mentorship, we have done just that. With live mentorship, you will be able to schedule a one-on-one session with the educators. We have an amazing set of educators for you to choose from. Let me explain how it works. To get started, you need to select a reason for which you need to connect the educator with. It could be that you are trying to solve a problem and you are stuck, and connecting with an educator can really help you solve that problem and understand the concepts behind it. If you are not able to understand a concept really well, you can still connect with an educator and they can help you understand that concept better and explain it in detail. Finally, you can also talk to the educators if you want to understand how to prepare for your exam, to discuss a strategy, which books to refer, and get general guidance about your preparation and increasing your chances of success. All you need to do is pick a time duration for which you need to talk to the educator and a time slot that suits you. With a little more information about what is it that you need help with, your session is finally booked. And once it's booked, it will start showing on the planner at the scheduled time. When the time comes, all you need to do is just start the session, and on the other side, the educator will be there to help you. You can talk with the educator on audio, and they can help you get through any of the problems that you are looking to solve. So that was live mentorship. I hope you enjoyed all the features that we talked about today, and you find them useful, and they actually help improve your learning experience. But that's not it. This is just a beginning. We are just setting the stage for a lot more exciting features to come your way. And finally, I want to thank the team that has worked so hard behind it. We are really excited about these features, and we hope that you find them useful as well. That would be it for the product launch today. Over to you, Fiona.
Thank you, Himesh. That was a very interesting session. I'm sure everyone is as thrilled as I am with the launch of the new and improved product. Learning on Unacademy is surely going to be twice the fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we have a very special session now with a very special guest, who's none other than the legend himself, Sachin Tendulkar. Along with him, we have the very charismatic Gaurav Kapoor hosting this session for you. Hi Gaurav, hi Sachin, welcome to the very first edition of Unacademy Unveil. We are honored to have you here. The floor is all yours now.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Thank you for those kind words. It is a pleasure to be here with the entire Unacademy family. And of course, great honor and a privilege to be part of the very first unveil that's happening. I must congratulate all of you, all the teams. The app looks absolutely great. And of course, the new features, especially the mentorship one. And my favorite, the raise a hand feature that's come. Because I want to say that when I went to school, which was pre-independence. But when I went to school, asking questions and interrupting the teacher was never incentivized. So I think that when you put that in and encourage learners to ask questions, to raise their hand and ask the question, I think that's gold. I think that's definitely the feature that stuck out for me. So congratulations to the entire team, and I'm sure that this will be yet another springboard in a series of springboards that you had. Well, we have one. We're talking about diving boards. Let's talk about the highest platform that there is. This person has jumped from every level, done twists and dives. I'm not talking about an Olympic diver. I'm talking about our greatest cricketer ever. Have the pleasure to be joined by the master himself, Mr. Sachin Tendulkar. Are you there? There you are. How are you?
Very much. I'm keeping well. How are you?
I'm very good. And your thoughts on Unveil?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. The new app looks really amazing. A big congratulations to Himesh, the entire Unacademy team for putting in endless number of hours and making sure that uh, the the students get what they want. One thing is to be able to live up to your own expectations, and the other thing is, the tougher bit is to live up to others' expectations. And you've done that. You've made this app simple, personalized, interactive, and so engaging. I mean, it's all about that involvement, that engagement. And this is what an academy stands for.
I have to say that that is a big endorsement, because coming from a person who spent 24 years living up to a billion expectations, yes, he knows what he's talking about there. So that is high praise indeed. And actually, to start off our session, I was just thinking, well, I was talking about the raise a hand feature. Let's just start with that, because when you were a youngster coming into the team, you're still a teenager. You're playing with the big boys of world cricket. When you had to talk to your seniors, when you had to ask them things, where you share your thoughts with them, did you have to raise a hand? Or could you just go up to them and?
So in the team meeting, initially I used to be really quiet. The first couple of tours I was quiet,
Yeah.
and then my school habit took over. My coach had always told me that the more you talk, the more you will learn. So
Yeah.
when you have senior players around you, make sure that you ask them questions. So I did, actually, and then something that helped me playing for Mumbai Ranji team was, in our Mumbai Ranji team there were, I'm not mistaken, 7 or 8 test cricketers,
Yeah.
and at that time my age was only 14.
Yeah.
I was in the dressing room, and Dilip Vengsarkar that time was the captain of India, and Ravi Shastri was there, Sanjay Manjrekar, so many senior cricketers were there, and I enjoyed their company, and I got that confidence, that fearlessness has to be there, and I became fearless being in that dressing room. I was not overawed by any situation. Yes, when I got into the Indian dressing room at the age of 16, there are other big names. Kapil Paji was there, Azhar was there, Shrikant was our captain. So many big names. But I was never overawed because they welcomed me, and obviously there was a huge age gap between me and Kapil Paji. But
Yeah.
but that never kind of put any obstacle, any challenge for me to walk up to them and ask them questions. I mean, I remember while I was batting with Ravi in Sydney, this was in Australia, we were playing the third test match, and Ravi was hammering them. We had scored 100 plus, and Australians were trying to play mind games, saying a lot of things which a schoolboy is not meant to hear. But I was with him, and they said something to me also. And after the over, we were together, and Ravi was saying something to them, and I said, "मेरा 100 होने दो, फिर मैं इनको दिखाता हूँ बाद में." That was the time when I got carried away, rather than asking Ravi questions and learning from him.
Yeah.
I also wanted to kind of retaliate and play in a hardball game, because once you are there on the field, nobody bothers whether you are 30 plus or a 16-year-old boy.
True.
Everyone is equal.
Yeah.
And so was the case when I batted with so many other members. I mean, Navjot Sidhu, for example. I mean, I used to tell
Yes.
Keri Kishari, bhai, you don't have to hit 6 sixes in an over. Halka halka time leke marte ho unko ताकि वो bowler continue rahe. We keep scoring runs. So I never shied away from asking questions.
Yeah.
Uh, I also remember, you know, Mike Gatting was playing in India that time. England had toured my first full-fledged Indian series.
Yeah.
My first 19 Test matches I played abroad, and then
Correct.
I came to India to play against England.
Yeah.
That was a big series, and I just out of curiosity I picked up Mike Gatting's bat. I said, "This bat, the meat of the bat is really high.
Yeah.
In Indian conditions, you should have the meat of the bat low, isn't it?"
Yeah.
He said, "My friend, when you come to England, you'll realize there is a bit more bounce, and we are used to playing with different bats. The shape is different, the pickup is different,
Wow.
the weight distribution is different, the balance, and all this kind of thing." So I used to questions, and I learned so many things.
Yeah, that's really nice that even at that age, I mean, you obviously had the confidence to ask. I mean, Mike Gatting is a person, senior cricketer at that time, more towards the end of his career, again, big age gap and everything. And the fact that you went and did that. So I think that a lot of the Bombay cricket at the time, your seniors.
Let me tell you one more thing. Mike was extremely friendly. I mean, so warm and welcoming that he said, come, let's have a chat. And he explained to me all those things.
Yeah.
And even when I go to England, we invariably catch up because that was when the ice was broken.
Yeah.
Nice. We continued sharing our views on cricket with each other. It's been a really, really pleasant experience sharing time with Mike.
Gatting on batting. That's what it should be called. Yeah, gatting on batting. But you also with your junior players, and then you become a senior. And we spoke about that in the previous session that we had done, for Unacademy, when we had spoken about, could the youngsters come up and talk to you? But I'm talking the other way, where you are giving, some, your thoughts and your tips and your opinions to the younger cricketers. Was there ever a time where maybe someone didn't listen to you?
Not many occasions it happened. Whenever I used to tell them that this is what I am noticing from the non-strikers end.
Yeah.
You need to work on these things, or this is a red flag. Be careful. Most of the times it happened, but there was one occasion where Ramesh Pawar, we were playing against Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
This was a Ranji Trophy match, and we were chasing, and we had lost wickets, and we still had fair amount of runs to score. And I was at the non-strikers end, and I kept telling Ramesh Pawar likes to play shots, and I kept telling that what are you doing? You'll lose your wicket. And I was intentionally saying it from a distance where the opposition could hear me.
Yeah.
And I kept telling him, this is not how you play. Just be careful. No need to do all this and all those kind of things. And I was raising my voice also. And Ramesh kept playing and scored those important runs. But that was part of our strategy. It was a bluff.
It was a bluff.
Yes, because I had told him that I will say all sorts of things standing at the non-strikers end.
Yeah.
You are not to listen to me. You are to continue with your normal game. Your whatever your natural instincts allow you to do, you need to do that. Just react to whatever you see. I may say whatever. I mean, treat that as rubbish because this is our strategy. I want the field to be attacking field.
Because Tamil Nadu is thinking that if Master is giving advice to Ramesh Pawar will listen. But you have told him don't listen, so they will bring the field and that's genius.
I said whatever number of runs we scored, because when I was batting, when I was on strike, all 9 fielders were on boundary line. Literally, I mean, in outfield, so maybe literally a couple of fielders in the ring and the remaining 7 guys protecting boundary line. So I said, for me to consistently hit boundaries with so many fielders behind, they are going to put pressure on you and look to get you out. But back yourself, play your natural game. Don't listen to me.
This is CIA and KGB level of spy. Very nice.
We had to bluff.
But you also bluffed when you were batting. Was this the same game where you were bluffing them with speaking Tamil, your broken Tamil?
Possibly either the same game or the earlier one. kind of getting confused.
Yeah, you
So
keep
where-
bluffing Tamil Nadu. You have to tell this story. Yeah, I know this.
Oh, what happened? I mean, we again were chasing a big total. I mean, Tamil Nadu always had a great batting lineup, and they batted deep. They had scored 485 runs. We were chasing. We needed, quite a few runs, but we had hardly 200 plus, and still 200 runs to go. Uh, Robin Singh was leading their team, and Robin Singh wanted to change the ball because the ball was not swinging. And finally, they got the umpires to change the ball. Once they changed the ball, I can't remember the name of the bowler, but he got the ball to reverse.
Yeah.
And it reversed quite well. I played 3-4 deliveries, and this is dangerous. So I think Amol Muzumdar was batting with me, and I told Amol Muzumdar that Amol, this is looking dangerous because suddenly the ball has started swinging. It's reversing, but we need to play with the bowler's mind. So I said, I'm going to change my stance. So if this is the crease.
Yeah.
I kept my feet like this, really wide.
Almost like Shrikant.
Yeah, really, really wide.
Yeah.
And I stood outside the crease.
Okay.
And once I stood inside the crease, and from point, I knew the point fielder was going to pass the message to bowler and tell him that, okay, I'm standing outside the crease. And then when I stood inside, he would say, and he would keep saying that pinnadi, munnadi, and all those kind of things.
And these are the two words that you knew.
And I kept changing my stance exactly opposite to what he was telling the bowler. And once the bowler started running, he couldn't say anything that his batter has changed his stance.
Yeah.
So I kept moving forward and backwards. So Pinnadi and Munnadi got them confused. And after the game, I told him, by the way, I understand Pinnadi and Munnadi. So I knew what you were telling the bowler.
So
and
what
accordingly, I kept. All you had to do was, if you are standing like this, and much wider than this. So if I wanted to stand outside the crease, and if the crease was there, all I had to do was just move my back foot forward, and I was like literally 1.5 feet outside the crease.
Yeah, change the length.
And if I wanted to be inside the crease, I would move this foot backwards. So I was either, almost a foot inside the crease or a couple of feet outside the crease. That's why the distance between my feet was really, really wide. And I would listen to the guy, and the guy was Hemang Badani. If you go and ask Hemang Badani, he would admit that. I think he's gone on record saying this story. This is how Paji fooled me, is what he said. I told him after the game, chalna hai, chalne do, match ke baad batayenge.
Yeah, that's great. So
what does we won the game? We chased the total.
So what does Munnadi mean and what does Pinnadi mean?
Pinnadi and Munnadi, forwards and backwards.
Forward and back.
Yeah. I mean, I could, Tanni and all those things we've learned being in the dressing room in Chennai. All those guys helped us.
That's amazing. I love it.
And all those kind of things. Yes, I understand.
It is what in India we call jugaad. Jugaad. You have to do jugaad as well.
No, but through language like Bengali, Punjabi, Tamil, and all that. Thoda, kunchum.
That's amazing. Talking about, you also had younger captains because there was two parts to your career. When there was, whenever you were not captain, you obviously had captains who were far senior to you. Then you had, let's say, Saurav, who perhaps is, same age, made his debut a little after, but kind of same age. And then you had, junior captains as well. So, when you had junior captains or when you had, Anil, Rahul, Saurav have all actually debuted after you as MS. What would you tell them? Because I'm sure that you had thoughts as well. For them, they respect you. Did you give them the freedom to actually, let's say, debate back with you and say that, no, maybe I don't agree with this? Did you have to consciously tell them, listen, this is my point of view, but it's up to you whether you want to take it or not?
I would always do that. I strongly believe that however junior the player may be, he should have the freedom to decide what he wants to do.
Nice. Okay.
We have to only give them options.
Yeah.
So there were a number of captains. I mean, right from the time I started playing, I did not hesitate going to our captain and giving my point of view.
Yeah.
So captain has so many things on his mind, and he has to make so many calculations, when to make bowling changes, how many overs are remaining, and all those kind of things. In that, you know, you can only help him.
Yeah.
It is about taking ownership.
Yeah.
And I always believed that it was my responsibility to walk up to our teammate. I mean, he happens to be a captain, but I am actually working in the interest of the team.
Yeah.
So I would go and give him multiple options on the table, and then it was up to the captain to decide whatever option he wants to choose, which is in the interest of the team. We all, as a team, had to go in that direction, because when you go in one direction as a team, then it is a formidable force. You go in various directions, it doesn't work. Force gets divided.
Yeah.
Collective force is always more powerful.
Amazing.
And that is what I felt. So I was never offended when captain didn't want to listen to me or whatever, because there were few other guys also wanting to give solutions.
Correct.
And captain at that particular moment, whatever he felt was the right thing to do, he did that.
Amazing. You were also famously superstitious about the position you would sit in when a match would be happening. And in the final of the 2011 World Cup, because I know Viru is also very superstitious, but abhi wo junior hai, to uska superstition tod diya aapne. Because you didn't want to move, you sent him to give a message to MS and Gary, didn't you?
No, in the finals, let me talk about the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Quarterfinals may, I was sitting in the dressing room. This was towards the end of the game. Not actually end of the game. I mean, 65%, 70% of the game was done.
Yeah.
But the last 30%, crucial one, where UV was batting with Raina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And they had that partnership. So I was inside the dressing room, on a massage table, and our masseur Amit was massaging me, and Viru was sitting next to me. We were chatting away, and after some time, because my head was down, Viru thought that I had fallen asleep. I was actually praying, and Viru thought I was sleeping. So he's telling Amit, "कि Amit, तू खामखाम time waste कर अपना पाजी तू सो गए." And I could hear everything, but I said, I'm not going to respond to Viru. I'm just going to pray. And I continued praying. Viru continued to be there for quite some time. And we did well. We won that game. And Amit also told him, he is not asleep. I can make out. He's not asleep. So वो हुआ. Then final में ऐसे ही हम दोनों अंदर बैठे थे. And again, I was praying and I was saying कि जो भी अच्छा है हमारे लिए दे दो please. And Viru was also there. So Viru said, मैं बाहर जाता हूँ. I said, nothing doing. You're not leaving the spot. Quarter finals में भी ऐसे ही हुआ था. We were there. तू इधर ही बैठना. We are not moving from the spot. Then we saw that the partnership between Gautam and Virat was building up, and then a couple of Sri Lankans had two off spins.
Yeah.
Murali and Randeep.
Yeah.
Suraj Randeep.
Yeah.
So I said two off spinners with lefty righty combination. This was a discussion between Viru and me. So I said, यहाँ पे though we have been successful with our batting lineup and UV had got runs, no off spinner would like to bowl to right-hander. If a right-hander gets out, MS has to walk in.
Yeah.
And if a left-hander gets out, UV has to go out.
Yeah.
Let's continue to have that left-hand, right-hand combination, especially when the ball was getting wet. There was not much assistance. I mean, when the ball gets wet, then there is no spinner in the world who feels comfortable. There is slight amount of discomfort, and you're constantly drying the ball and to find better grip and all those kind of things. And there you see a left-hand, right-hand combination. That's the last thing you want to see.
Yeah.
And I told Viru that, Gary was sitting out with MS. I said, please, only for this message, you're allowed to go out and tell them and come back. And the rest is up to MS, whatever they want to decide. But this is what we feel.
Yeah.
This is what we think. And while, Viru was about to literally get up and go out, Gary and MS coincidentally just walked into the washroom. And that is when we were able to tell them.
Yeah.
So this is exactly how it happened. So nothing was planned. It happened spontaneously, because you may plan a lot of things, but in any sport, that spontaneity has to be there to be able to read that situation and respond to it accordingly.
Yeah.
Is what as a team we needed to do, and this is again, it was only a suggestion. Then it was left to our coach and the captain.
But that suggestion of yours, created history. Another suggestion of yours created history was when you got Jamie, the Wall, to come bat at number 3. And look what he did at number 3.
Right.
The greatest number 3, perhaps, that will ever be. So when did you saw that? This you saw in South Africa, right?
This when I became the captain. In fact, on our 1996 tour of England,
Yeah.
I was asked by Sportstar. I had to give interview, and in that, I was asked a promising player for future, and I had named Rahul Dravid.
Yeah.
A number of guys said, Saurav ka naam liya. I said Saurav had already made his debut.
Yeah.
Before that, and
92.
he
Yeah.
had played in. So I said Rahul is the player, because nobody has seen Rahul, and I feel Rahul has that technique.
Yeah.
Rahul, when I became the captain in South Africa, I felt Rahul was better suited for that number, because I felt when you go abroad, the pitch is damp. You need the player to kind of leave as many deliveries as possible. Someone to be patient and tire out opposition.
Yeah.
And Saurav, with his natural ability to attack,
Yeah.
once the ball got slightly old and the spinners came on, the seamers would also obviously bowl from the other end. But Saurav liked scoring runs and boundaries.
Yeah.
So Rahul was someone who would actually patiently be there and see off the new ball, the hardness of the seam, and the shine of the ball. And वहाँ पे he tried Rahul out in Johannesburg.
You said it, ऐसे कर दो, ऐसे कर दो.
And not that that was our permanent solution.
Yeah.
Yes, but in long term, sometimes you need to think about the next 10 steps. It is not about only the next step. The next step, keeping in mind what the next 10 steps would be. So, like in cricket, you say there's no point having a good eyesight if you don't have vision.
Oh, nice.
So
wow.
that calculation was well thought of.
Yeah. You did a Munadi Pinadi with both of them.
Exactly. So that happened. So you see, I mean, over the years, Saurav also then later on batted number 3 occasionally. It was Lakshman who batted in a few matches. So we kept changing that number. But overall, if you see, over 80% or so, or 85%, Rahul was the one who batted number 3 and hasn't done a bad job for India at all.
Yeah. You can say that, yes. Not bad. He has become, I mean, literally, when people talk about a number 3, I think Rahul Dravid will go down in history as the gold standard of what, a number 3 has to be. A perfect casting jo hai of what a number 3 should be. As Saurav once told me, कहता उसका काम था कि बॉल को छोड़ के पुराना करना.
So all of us were on the same page. When it's a decision in the interest of the team, then it is important that you get everyone on board. So the whole team was on board. It was a collective kind of a decision acceptable to everyone.
Yeah. And we're talking about,
so acceptability is the most important thing.
Correct. But as you said earlier, if it's in the best interest of the team, then you know that everyone is is going to be on board with the plan, and obviously Rahul, team man himself, would be up for the plan. And
Yeah. So since we are on this learning app platform,
yeah,
we have to say that only when there is acceptability, that is when
correct.
you will start getting better in life.
Yeah,
Because nobody is 100% perfect.
true.
Nobody is perfect. Provided you can continue getting better,
Yeah,
provided there is acceptability that okay,
yeah,
these are the areas where I need to improve.
yeah.
And if you do that, you continue moving forward.
Correct. I always tell people that to find the solution, you have to first acknowledge the existence of the question. Only when you acknowledge the question will you be able to find the solution. A lot of times we hear the questions, but we don't acknowledge them. We say, no, that's not a problem. But you acknowledge it, and then you find the solution. We're talking about live mentorship. That's a feature that's been added to the app. There are a lot of young cricketers who are envious because you've had some live mentorship sessions with some of the young ones. And I'm going to name some because I know this happened with both Prithvi and Shardul. You spotted both of them, and it's on record. You spotted both of them at a very young age, and you looked at them and you said, Isme dum hai, isme dum hai. I think Prithvi was almost when he was in single digit age, and Shardul perhaps when he was a teenager. You spotted both of them and you said, Ye dono India khelenge. Tell us about that story.
I think Prithvi was around 8 when my friend Jagdish, who practiced with me all the time and was also very much, involved in domestic cricket. In the sense, I mean, he would watch good talent and tell me, ki, ye player acha hai, this keep an eye, he's good. And that's how he said, I want you to watch him. If there is something that you need to, change in his batting, then you can tell him. And he showed me Prithvi. I mean, Prithvi was I think 8 at that time. It was at BKC in Bandra, and at that club when I saw him bat, I actually told him literally after watching few deliveries. I must have watched not more than 5-6 minutes, and I said, "You're watching future star of Indian cricket." I said, "He's going to represent India one day." And then his the coordination, the understanding of line and length, he was picking that so quickly at the age of 8. I said, this is a gift from up above. I mean, you
Wow.
cannot teach a 8-year-old kid to do all these things. I mean, it becomes too much to absorb.
Yeah.
That is the age where they should just go out on the field and enjoy themselves,
Yeah.
madly in love with cricket. And that is how the relationship with your passion grows. I don't like calling profession. I
Yeah.
always called it my passion.
Yeah.
And that's how you progress. And then if you feed them too much information, too technical stuff,
Yeah.
then it is too much for them to digest.
Yeah.
It's all about being able to go out and express yourself, enjoy,
Yeah.
and not be judged. We have a tendency, the
But that
parents have
happens a
a
lot. I mean,
tendency.
it's happened with you at that age. I'm sorry, I'm going to just interject because I'm sure you've spoken to, I'm just guessing that you've spoken to Prithvi about this because the same, the same issue happened with you as well when you were at a young age. There was a few things that were unconventional about you, which was your own style. People couldn't understand it. You must have been getting a lot of inputs from a lot of places. And that's been happening with Prithvi as well. So I'm sure that that's some knowledge that you've been able to pass down to him.
I did, actually, I did. And this thing never stops. There are going to be people who would want you to do it. But sometimes too many things are said, and I feel that you need to decide who to listen to and kisko left karna hai.
Nice. So who
Because
did
then
you
you
listen
have,
to?
you can't keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
You can't, because every player is telling you according to his mindset,
Yeah.
according to how he would have played.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that first. That okay, this is not how I play. I play differently. So I need to think accordingly and make those finer adjustments accordingly. So that is what, even when I met Prithvi recently, I told him that, there are minor tweaks that you need to do. It's fine. It's fine. Everyone gets out. It's okay. But if you manage those minor tweaks, everything will be right up there. Because when things are not going well and you start reacting little late, is only because there are too many things going on up there. So you just need to clear this up.
Yeah.
And that, it's easier said than done, to keep your mind blank.
Yeah.
But there is nothing drastically wrong. Just finer tweaks. And we spoke on whatever we had to discuss. I spoke, and it is all about making yourself comfortable in the middle.
Yeah.
If you are comfortable, are you trying to tell me by any chance that whoever scored runs in the history of this game, they were all technically correct? Everyone has some or the other weakness. It is all about not showing your weakness to opposition.
Yeah.
Bowlers shouldn't know where to bowl, and it is up to the batter to make him bowl in the areas where the batter would want him to bowl.
Correct. You have to munadi pinadi him.
100%.
But
mind games, then all these things happen.
yeah, no, but I want to ask you that question. When you had all these inputs that were coming to you at the time, who did you speak with? Who did you listen to?
It was my brother.
Your brother.
My brother Ajit and I, we would have a dialogue every evening, literally every evening.
Yeah.
And discuss as and when I was batting the next day or whatever I had done in the previous innings, whatever. He would tell me. And again, there were minor adjustments, or sometimes even not even technical, but sometimes there were just mental adjustments.
Yeah. Could you debate with him though? Could you disagree with him?
Oh, so many times we disagreed. And then as long as you know that, this discussion is taking place in your interest,
Yeah.
then it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
Because he was also telling me so that I could go out and score runs. I could
Correct.
go out and perform.
Yep.
And as long as you know the end goal, then along the way there are going to be traffic lights.
Yeah.
You need to stop. That's okay.
Yeah.
Every time you can't have your foot on the accelerator. Sometimes you need to, change the gear and slow down. And that happens. That's fine.
Sometimes to score 200 in Australia, you have to not play the cover drive. Yes. But Shardul, sorry, we didn't talk about Shardul. Your thoughts when you saw him?
So Shardul also, I saw him again at BKC in Bandra. Again with Jagdish, my friend. We were practicing and I saw him. Shardul was, I think, Shardul was playing either under 15 or under 17 in those days, or under 16. I get a little confused. But this was again, he was, I think, 14 or 15 at that time. And I saw him bowl, and I said that this guy, he's got a strong action, and then he bowls a heavy ball. So his ball is actually coming and hitting the bat. You can see that. And I said that if he continues to do this and he works on his fitness, because fast bowlers have to be fit.
True.
There are no shortcuts. I mean, batters also have to be fit, but fast bowlers even more so. Because you put so much stress on your body while landing, you're almost putting 7 times your body weight on the front foot.
Yeah.
So to be able to sustain that kind of pressure, you need good fitness, good level of fitness. And Shardul was still, a teenager. He was still,
little chubby, little baby
yeah,
fat.
because I mean, little chubby, and full credit to him.
Yeah, now
I
he's.
actually had a chat with him.
Yeah.
I had a chat with him, and I said, "You can get to where you want to,
Yeah.
provided you do certain things."
Yeah. Stop the parathas.
Nothing comes easily. I mean, you have to sacrifice few things,
Yeah.
and you should play for India. That should be
Yeah.
your end goal. And he worked hard. He really worked hard. He's been disciplined. He worked hard on his fitness, and eventually it boils down to how focused you are, how stable you are mentally,
Yeah.
and then you get there.
I love that. I mean, I love the fact that there's this whole young brigade of cricketers now who are so fearless when it comes to expressing themselves. It kind of takes me back to, the early 2000s team, when, there was, of course, there was you, and then you had, your one batch, your juniors, which was, maybe Anil and Rahul and sort of, and then this entire batch of freshers came in, right? There was UV and Bhajju and Ashu and Zach, and there was all this batch of youngsters who were just playing fearless cricket. And I think that you, the seniors, empowered them to perhaps do that. And I'm kind of seeing that. I remember thinking when I was watching the Gabba test and I was watching history being made on that final day with all these youngsters coming and just playing fearlessly. It kind of took me back to that era, like, 20 saal pehle. It took me back to that era of, you must have been so happy seeing the way they played. Forget the win, I guess, but just the way they played in Australia.
So I think here the first half of the question, when someone like Viru, UV, and
Yeah.
all these guys, the names that there are a number of names that I may miss out
True.
on, quite a few names, but this applies to all those guys who were there for good 15 years together.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed, and without any doubt, they all were hardworking, fearless, but also extremely talented.
True.
They were skilled players.
Yeah.
And each player had its own quality.
Yeah, they had complementary skills. Yeah.
100%. I mean, it worked really well. As a team, it really worked well for us. And to come to this last Australian tour, there were so many injuries. I think 11, 12 injuries, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we had an injury all-stars
I
11.
don't remember in my entire career where there have been so many injuries and players have had to leave and come back.
Yeah.
And then you end up playing youngsters who are not meant to be a part of the first 14 or 15 member squad, because number of guys had just gone there as net bowlers.
Correct. Yep.
To help our team prepare better, because in those conditions one didn't know whether there were going to be enough net bowlers, quality net bowlers or not.
Yeah.
And quite understandable.
Yeah.
So there, with those players, you go out and you play and you beat. I think that was a tremendous achievement. I think the last test match, where on the last day, especially the way we started, the way I felt Shubman challenged Stark when he started bouncing the ball to him, and he played those shots, that set the tone.
Yeah.
Then there were a number of guys. I mean, you see, even when Ajinkya came, Ajinkya's approach was different. He didn't score big runs. But that brief period, that body language said it all. Yeah. Australians got that message that India is not going to draw this test match. They are going for it. And that is, it's like practicing boxing. When there is a punching bag, everyone is a good boxer.
Yeah.
Somebody is able to land one punch, you fall down and you have to get up on your feet and start boxing again.
Yeah.
That's a different bout. That's a different thing altogether.
Yeah,
so
true.
That is exactly what happened. And I'm told in the dressing room, I was having a casual chat with Ravi, and you overheard, I think it was Ajinkya and Pant. They were saying कि थोड़ा 2-3 ओवर में लगेगा ना shots, तो देखना कैसा match change होता जाएगा. So I love that mindset.
Yeah.
And they did that. And not to underestimate Shardul's contribution. He had scored runs. I think in the first innings he got runs, important runs. Washington. What a matured innings. It was really exciting. And I watched the game ball by ball.
Yeah.
It was so thrilling. I mean, I thoroughly loved it. And to be able to go there without 11 or 12 main players, players, regular members, I would say.
Yeah.
Because anyone who represents India is equally important.
True.
But these guys were back in India.
It changed. I mean, the plan changed, but the youngsters were up for it, which is great.
Have these guys, youngsters, go out and perform and play so brilliantly was a treat.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that last
I
gap.
did. Actually, I did.
Yeah, it was amazing. But let's talk about, I mean, what that win has done, what that series win has done is set up India for the WTC final. And I know we're all out of time, so I'm just going to ask as your parting thoughts on the final that we're going to be playing in a week from now.
It's going to be a closely fought finals.
Yeah, because it's a good team, New Zealand. They're good opponents.
New Zealand and Trent Bolt will, strengthen their bowling attack.
Yeah.
His experience, his skill will matter a lot. New Zealand would be happy to have him in the squad. Not to forget that we also have a very well balanced squad.
Yeah.
We have a very strong unit, and the advantage here is our all rounders can bat.
Yeah.
And Rishabh can bat, a wicketkeeper who's a proper batsman, a dangerous batsman.
And he's got a century in England before, so he knows. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ashwin can bat.
Yeah.
And can harm you.
Yeah.
And so can Jadeja.
Yeah.
So all-rounders can bat. They can get into these important 70, 80 run partnership or maybe even more.
Yeah.
So that is a dangerous thing for opposition. They need to worry about this and have their plans right. But also simultaneously, I would say that New Zealand is a well-balanced squad, and they know the conditions better because it's like playing at home away from home.
True.
New Zealand conditions are more or less the same.
True.
So they understand. Only the difference would be the ball.
Hmm.
Bowling with Kookaburra and bowling with Dukes is different.
Yeah. True.
So again, it is about getting used to all those different things, which in Test cricket you're challenged with, and that is where adaptability comes in. Whoever adapts the conditions faster than the other one, they are going to have a head start. So it is important to understand the conditions, and sometimes it is not about starting a test match from day one. You can start a test match backwards. So you could think what could happen on this pitch.
Yeah.
Day 5, day 4, what could happen? Would my spinners come into play? And then you start playing accordingly.
It's chess. I love it.
Don't look to finish everything in literally 2 days.
Yeah. Test cricket
2 days
is like chess.
Too less, 3.5 days. If it gets so, it's fine. But sometimes you need to consider all angles.
Yeah.
And one of the important elements is to be able to see what would happen on day 5.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Such an interesting perspective. But obviously, when you're hearing from the master, you will only hear interesting perspectives. I wanted to ask you one last question before going, because I know we discussed this and we haven't covered it. The pressure that will be on India playing this WTC final right now, because if anybody knows about handling pressure in terms of both quality of pressure and quantity of pressure, it is you, because you handled it for such a long time. Just this, because that's not just for cricket, that's also for all our viewers, everyone who's watching. It's for me, it's for everyone who's around, because everybody has pressure in their lives. Yes, you had it from over 1 billion people, but humko bhi kabhi 10-12 logon se mil jata hai. So how to handle it?
Well, first and the foremost thing I would say is embrace pressure.
Nice.
Don't fight it. Because pressure is going to be your constant companion.
Yeah.
If you excel in life, people will have expectations from you.
Yeah.
And that leads to pressure. So it's fine. I mean, it's good to have people expecting something. I always believed that when I was walking out to bat, if people did not expect anything from me, I was at a wrong place.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be doing something else in life.
Yeah.
People are expecting something from me because of their past experiences. Nice. And I've been able to, do something significantly to satisfy their expectations in the past.
Yeah.
That's why they're expecting more. Or kar sakta hai. And why not?
Amazing.
It should be that way. And it all depends on how you, this was one thing that we discussed during 2011 World Cup. How do we deal with pressure? 1 billion plus people expecting you to lift the trophy. How do we do that? So the solution there was, it all depends on the direction of pressure.
Yeah.
If the pressure is sitting on top of your head, it is going to sink you slowly but surely. If the pressure is behind you, which is 1 billion plus people, it is going to propel you forward.
Wow.
और 1 billion plus force, एक formidable force है, उसको हराना easy नहीं.
बिल्कुल, और नहीं हरा पाएंगे.
It is with you, not sitting on top of your head, pushing you down.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Well, we're out of time. We were actually out of time a little while ago, but when you are speaking, it's very difficult to end the conversation. It always is. So thank you so much. I want to thank you on behalf of the entire Unacademy team for taking out time and sharing your perspective, your wisdom, your anecdotes. It's always just like all your innings and your career, it is a great balance. It gives us a bit of everything. It is the Sholay. It has tragedy, it has comedy, it has action, it has thrills, it has everything in it. But before we leave, is there anything you'd like to say to the Unacademy team, the entire family that's watching?
Unacademy team, entire family, I'm a part of this
course.
Family. And it's such a joy to be able to interact with you. My message to everyone, we all have dreams. We should never stop chasing them. If you are passionate, if you are disciplined, you put in those hard hours. Sometimes, you don't feel like doing it, but push yourself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we think that, bas bahut koshish hui, I can't. Just take that extra step forward. You'll realize your dream. And when in doubt, don't forget to raise your hand. Always.
Absolutely.
Message mil raha hai na?
Bilkul. And I love how we started with that and we've come right till the end of that. So that's great. So we should, I think, raise, just you're talking about raise a hand. I think after seeing all the features, I'm saying raise both hands and just go, ooh, raise the ceiling. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, Master. Thank you so much for everything you've done for our country, for everything you've done for all cricket fans. And thank you so much for sharing your time so generously here today. I know you have Unacademy on your heart and in your heart. And that just shows every time you come and speak on this forum. So thank you so much. And I'm Gaurav Kapoor and I'm saying
good wishes, support. I know you said that, I've played for 24 years. All that wouldn't have been possible without all of you guys. A big thank you.
Well, it is extremely easy because you were doing the hard work. It's very easy. It was very easy for us to cheer because you were doing all the hard work. So thank you so much. I'm Gaurav Kapoor and I want to thank the entire Unacademy family for being here today and for being part of this session. And we will take your leave now and we will hand over back to Fiona. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Gaurav, for sharing such valuable insights from your life and always inspiring us to outdo ourselves. Thank you. Before I bid adieu, I would like to thank all the leaders here at Unacademy for being an inspiration to their teams. I would also like to thank all the stakeholders for joining us here in the session today and making this a grand success. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget, here at Unacademy, we are committed to the mission of revolutionizing the education sector and changing the way India learns forever. Having said that, I'm sure we'll be meeting very, very soon for the next session of the Unacademy Unveil. Until then, this is all from us here today. I'm your host, Fiona Leong, signing off. Stay safe and good night.